Welcome back to So You Really Want to Learn Latin, and today we are going to be carrying on our little journey through the wonderful world of participles, and we're going to look first of all at future participles, and then we're going to look again at past participles, our old friend the PPP. But before we do that, let's have a crack with these future participles. Now, a future participle in Latin is formed from the supine. Okay, so that's the fourth principal part. Remember, amo, amare, amavi, amatum. That fourth principal part, amatum, is the supine, and we've already used it to form the PPP. If you remember, we changed to us, and we got amatus. We used that when we were forming the perfect passive. Well, we're now going to do something slightly different with that stem, and instead of changing to us, we're going to change to urus. Okay, so from amor we get amaturus, and from moneo we get moniturus, and from rego we get recturus, and from audio we get auditurus. Okay, so we're just going to the fourth principal part and we're changing to urus. Okay, and that thing that you have created with that urus noise towards the end of the word is the future participle, and it means being, because all participles have that sense of they describe what is going on, you know, what something is being. The future participle means being about to do something. So amaturus means being about to love, and moniturus means being about to warn, and recturus means being about to rule, and so on. Okay. There is a very famous situation in which you use a future participle. The gladiators in the Roman amphitheatre used to, before they went out to fight, they would salute the emperor, if the emperor were watching, and they would say, Ave Caesar, morituri te salutant. Okay, morituri, those about to die, salute you. Okay, so that's a future participle. We'll talk about it in more detail later, because it's actually a future participle from a deponent verb, which is yet another little thing to worry about. Okay, so these future participles, they end in us, and therefore they decline like bonus. They are adjectives, they agree with the noun they are describing. They can be masculine or feminine or neuter or singular or plural, and whatever case they need to be in. Okay? So, for example, we are in book 3 here, chapter 1. You might have a sentence such as Puellas agriculum superaturas vidit. Okay? Verb first, vidit. He, she, or it saw. Puellas, the girls. Okay? He saw the girls. Agriculum superaturas. Now you can recognize future participles because they've always got that kind of urus noise. Think of the word future. Think of the spelling of future, F-U-T-U-R-E, futur. Okay, so he saw puellas, the girls, and these girls are described as being superaturas, about to overcome. Who are they about to overcome? They are about to overcome agriculum, the farmer. Okay, he saw the girls, brackets, who were, close brackets, about to overcome the farmer. Okay, so that's how you use future participles. Just as we found when we did present participles, you quite often feel the need to put in a little group of words like who was or who were, or a kind of clause to make it sound a bit more natural. Because literally what that meant was he saw the girls about to overcome the farmer. And, you know, it does mean that, and that's fine if that's how you translate it. But really, if you just think of these words as being adjectives, they are describing the noun that they are agreeing with, giving a little bit more information about them. And so he saw the girls, okay, puellas we did. And what do we know about the girls? Well, these girls were agricolam superaturas, about to overcome the farmer. Okay? Right. Now, it won't surprise you to know these are not massively common. You know, you don't find them in every sentence you're ever going to want to translate. But really nice to know when you do find them, and very recognizable because of that urus noise that you get towards the end of a form that is clearly formed from a verb. Now, most verbs form their future participle in an entirely regular way. Just a few little things to notice. The verb possum does not have a future participle. You are not able to say in Latin being about to be able. It's just not a thing you can do, so don't try it. If you need to say something similar to that, find a different way of doing it. And the verb sum has a future participle which is futurus. Okay, now you probably wouldn't have got there on your own just because the principal parts of sum, there are only three of them, sum, sf, fui. But, you know, once you've kind of got your head around participles, you're probably thinking, hang on, I need a supine stem to form a future participle, and sum doesn't have a supine stem. So you just kind of have to learn that the future participle of sum is futurus. And of course that is where we get the word future, futurus. Okay, so that's really all we need to say about future participles. And we're now just going to go back to our old friend, the PPP, the perfect participle passive, or the past participle passive. We've mentioned it already a couple of times recently, but just for completeness, we've done present participles, we've done future participles, and now, last but not least, we're doing past participles, or perfect participles. And you will remember that these little fellows are formed, rather similar to the future participle we've just done, they are formed from the supine stem. But you change to us. And that word is an adjective, it goes like bonus, and it means, literally, having been whatevered. So amatus means having been loved. Monitus means having been warned. Rectus means having been ruled, and so on. Okay. Now, you will, as you get better at this, you will find that the words having been are kind of a bit clunky, and you tend not to use them when you're writing an English sentence. But my advice at this age is always use them in your head at least, so that you know when you see a past participle passive that A, you remember it is passive, because past participle passives are passive, right? And also it just gets you into the right kind of frame of mind as to what is going on when you see this little thing in a sentence which is a past participle passive. Translate it with the words having been, first of all, and then if you want to take them out later, you probably will be able to. So for example, in here we've got a sentence which is puellam a militibus captam vidimus. Okay, so you go to the verb first and you've got vidimus, and that means we saw, or we have seen. Okay, puellam vidimus, we saw the girl. And then we've got a militibus captam. Now, a militibus means by the soldiers, and captam, okay, that's the past participle passive from capio, and it went captus, and then someone has made that agree with a noun in the sentence. It's got an accusative feminine singular ending, captam, so it's agreeing with a noun in this sentence which is accusative and feminine and singular. And that, of course, in this sentence is puellam. So, we saw the girl having been captured by the soldiers. Okay, that's the kind of girl it was we saw. We saw one that could be described as having been captured by the soldiers. Now, notice it's the girl who has been captured by the soldiers, not us. Okay, and you can tell that because captam agrees with puellam. It's not agreeing with the subject, which would be we, which would need to be nominative and plural, masculine or feminine. You don't know which because you don't know who the we are. But it is not nominative or plural of any gender, is it? It's accusative and feminine and singular. So, we saw the girl having been captured by the soldiers. Now, you can change that to something like, we saw the girl who had been captured by the soldiers. Okay? Or just, we saw the girl captured by the soldiers. Okay? But that's the sort of girl it was. It was a having been captured by the soldiers sort of girl. Okay? So if we just do a few little sentences, just, both ways to check we're on track with this. First one in the book here, we have Gallos urbem oppugnaturos spectabamus. Okay? Gallos urbem oppugnaturos spectabamus. Verb first, bamus, nice obvious subject. It must be we because it's a first person plural. So, we were watching. Now, who were we watching? Gallos. We were watching the Gauls. And then we've got these other two words, urbem and oppugnaturos. Oppugnaturos, you can tell it's a future participle because it's got that ur noise in it. And that os ending tells us that it's accusative, masculine and plural, and it's agreeing with a noun that is accusative and masculine and plural, which in this sentence is Gallos. So, we were watching the Gauls about to attack, oppugnaturos, about to attack urbem, the city. So, we were watching the Gauls who were about to attack the city. Okay, I'll do another one. Jump to number 3 here. We've got Ulixes domum rediturus dis gratias agit. Okay, now Ulixes, that is Ulysses, the Latin name for Odysseus. So Ulysses, down to the end, agit, he looks like, it's from ago, ageri, agi, arctum, I drive. But used in conjunction with the noun gratias, that means gave thanks. Literally, he drove thanks. So Ulysses gave thanks. Dis, to the gods. Okay, Ulysses gave thanks to the gods. But why, or indeed when? Well, Ulysses is described as domum rediturus, being about to return domum home. So, Ulysses, about to return home, gave thanks to the gods. You can put that into all sorts of better ways. You could say, for example, Ulysses, on the point of returning home, gave thanks to the gods. Or Ulysses, who was about to return home, gave thanks to the gods. Or, there are lots of ways you can do it. But what we're doing here is nailing future participles, and there's a very good example of one, rediturus. Okay, and if we now do some past participle ones, we've got puer parvus agricolam interfectum vidit. Okay, puer parvus, the small boy, vidit, saw. Now, who did he see? He saw agricolam interfectum. So he saw the farmer, but it's not any old kind of farmer. It is a interfectum agriculum, a having been killed farmer. So the small boy saw the farmer who had been killed. Okay, we'll do another one. Puellam a matre relictam invenire non poteramus. Okay, down to the verb non poteramus. We were not able, that's from possum, we were not able, and that's, you're kind of looking for an infinitive after that, we were not able to do something. And we've got invenire, which means to find. So, we were not able to find puellam, the girl. Now, which girl were we not able to find? We were not able to find the girl a matre relictam, having been left by her mother, by the mother. Okay? So in other words, we were not able to find the girl who had been left by her mother. Okay? Quite a good way of handling sentences that contain these ppps is to kind of bracket them together with the noun that they are describing. And then once you're sure you know which word agrees with which word, you can kind of, in your own mind, using a PPP, use the words having been, so that you know, literally having been left, or having been warned, or having been attacked, or whatever. And then when you've got that down, and you know exactly what has happened, even if it sounds a bit clunky, then rephrase it to make it sound right. But make sure when you rephrase it that the sense stays the same. Okay, and then, always the best way to be absolutely certain we've nailed all this stuff. We'll put a few into Latin, and we'll give an example of a present participle, a future participle, and a past participle, so you know you can do all three. Okay? Right, first one we are going to do is, we see the horses walking into the field. Okay? We see the horses walking into the field. Okay? And it's the horses who are doing the walking, not us. So we see the horses, equus videmus. We see the horses. Okay? But they're not any old horses. They are horses who are walking into the field. In agrum ambulantes. Okay? So do you see what we've done there? We've taken ambulo, we've gone into the present participle, ambulance, we've made ambulance decline like ingates, and we've made it agree with the horses, equus. They were accusative, masculine, plural, and we've gone for the accusative masculine plural form of ambulance, which has gone ambulantes. Okay? So quite a lot going on, but, once you've got the hang of it, reasonably straightforward. Okay, the second one, they saw the cavalry about to attack the town. They saw the cavalry about to attack the town. So, main verb, they saw, and the object is the cavalry. So, we daren't, they saw. It'll go down at the end, but let's do it now. We daren't, the cavalry, equites, that's the accusative, masculine plural, equites, the cavalry. So, equites, we daren't. But these cavalry people are described as being about to attack the town. Now, the town is oppidum, and to attack is oppugno. But we're going to get oppugno into its future participle. So oppugno, oppugnare, blimey, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Oppugnavi, oppugnatum. Change that to oppugnaturus and make it agree with the cavalry, who were accusative and masculine plural. So oppugnaturus. So the whole thing, equites, oppidum oppugnaturus viderunt. And then finally, a PPP for us, just to finish off with, we have at number 3 in this exercise, he led the captured slaves into the forum. He led the captured slaves into the forum. Okay, he led, duxit, that'll go at the end. The captured slaves. Now the slaves are servos, that's our object, accusative masculine plural. And he led them into the forum, in forum. But they are described as captured slaves. They are having been captured slaves. So we need the PPP of capio, which would be captus, make it agree with the slaves, and it becomes captos. So, servos captos in forum duxit. Okay, right, so quite a lot going on there. Now, have a crack as always. It gets more and more important, I think, that you do these exercises. You know, there aren't loads and loads here, so really you ought to be doing them all. If you need the answers, the answer book is available from our website. You can download it as a PDF or buy the hard copy. But I'm only saying that so that when you do this work, it should be possible for you to, you know, follow the course, get the advice I'm giving you in these videos, and then just rattle through the exercises. But always nice to know you're getting them right. So if you check the answers, you know you're on course. Right, that's enough for now on participles. Next time we'll do one more video on these. I just want to tell you about deponent verbs and what happens to participles of deponent verbs. But until then, keep up the good work. Do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and drop me a comment in the box below if you have any issues or problems, and I'll see you back here on this channel very soon.